President of Global Automotive Business Development at MediaTek Incorporated. In case you don't know MediaTek is an $18 billion semiconductor company. We, by volume, are the largest provider of cell phone chips for smartphones, also the #1 provider of chips for things like Chromebooks, smart speakers, and tablets. I'm here today to talk to you about the role of artificial intelligence in the automotive industry. The first thing you might ask is, why is an automotive guy here talking to you about the automotive industry and artificial intelligence? Well, it's really about the impact that artificial intelligence, deep learning, generative AI is going to have on the automotive industry going forward. It's truly an exciting time. Full disclosure, I'm not an AI expert, but I have spent 30 years in the automotive industry. And what I'd like to do today is to give you some insights about how the automotive industry is thinking about AI today and where we want to go in the future in applying AI to future use cases. My goal today is to stimulate ideas, to allow you to be creative, and to allow us to continue to collaborate to bring new use cases into the vehicle. We need your help. The developer community, the ecosystem partners that are here this week at GTC are critically important and will help us think of new use cases that we haven't even dreamed of yet. AI is truly a game changer for the future of automobiles. I believe that it's all about having a more personalized, intuitive experience in your vehicle that helps you, the driver, and your passengers be safer and more productive while you're on the road. What I'm going to share with you today are some insights into the industry, and I'll share how I think that AI can play a role there. Talk a little bit about what we're doing today and where I think we can go in the future. And I'll end with a request, a call to action to continue this collaboration between car makers, manufacturers of components, and you, the developers and ecosystem partners. The next concept I'd like to talk about is democratization. This is an important concept for MediaTek across all of its industry verticals that we participate in, but it's especially important for car makers. What does it really mean? Democratization means that intuitive experiences, safe driving, entertainment, all these use cases shouldn't just be for the most expensive or high-end cars. Automakers have to build a car that ships anywhere in the world, and they need to manage their development costs in creating these solutions to scale it from high to low and to adapt it to various geographical locations, languages, social norms, and cultures. And so this idea that AI will be democratizing features in the future is an important element, not only for automakers, but also for MediaTek. So what this concretely means is that the new AI features that you think up, that we think up, need to be able to be scaled and put across a wide range of vehicles across different geographies and different price points. So it's something that we need to keep in mind as we go forward and develop these use cases. Next, I want to point out that we're not starting from scratch. We have some very good, I'll call it traditional AI experiences today. Some of those are, I'd say, traditional decision matrix or very strict algorithm-based artificial intelligence, if you will. And they work fairly well. But in some ways, these experiences today are a little bit underwhelming. How many of you have had trouble in your vehicle, maybe simply connecting Bluetooth or somehow seamlessly working between your phone interface, your car interface, your different screens in the car? It leaves a little bit to be desired. And I believe that AI is going to be a fundamental technology that will help us improve that experience, that intuitive and safe interaction with your car. What I want to focus on today is where we can go with your help, with the ecosystem and development experience that you all have. I believe we can make a step change improvement in AI applied to automobiles. AI at the edge. Why is this important? The compute power that we have available to us now has improved substantially to the point where we can now talk about running AI, large language models, et cetera, on the edge. What that means is running it actually in the car. And this is powerful for at least 3 reasons, 3 that I'd like to share with you today. First is edge processing is better for speed. Think of a situation where you are driving along. You have, let's say, a heads-up display. This is a projector that puts graphics across your windshield to help you with driving. Not only does the artificial intelligence algorithm that might be running and making some decisions or taking some action have to be fast, but the entire system has to be fast. And so when we think about new AI use cases, we need to not only think about the AI engine itself, we need to think about there's cameras all around the car. All of those camera inputs need to be processed, brought in, analyzed, torn down, actions or decisions made, and then those actions or decisions or alerts need to somehow be then presented to the user, maybe on that heads-up display on the front of the windshield. All of this needs to happen in near real time. So you need not only fast AI performance, but you also need the entire system to be fast. And that's where some of the new SoCs come into play that we'll be talking about later. The second aspect is latency. Latency is critically important when you think about alerting the driver to various situations around the car. Take, for example, driver alertness detection. Say you're on a long, straight road through the middle of Nebraska at night, you might get a little tired. The camera inside the car can be monitoring your face, looking for drowsiness. The artificial intelligence engine can detect that, and in near real time, wake you up effectively, maybe rumble your seat or turn on the air conditioning, for example. Those things have to happen with low latency. And that's just one example, simple example. There's many more where latency is critical in artificial intelligence applied in the vehicle. The last aspect is security. Consider that you're talking with a chatbot or an LLM in the car. You might be dictating something that's personal in nature, maybe some personal information. Maybe you're conversing with the chatbot about some medical information that you're interested about. The security of having those AI and LLMs at the edge is that that data, especially that private personal data, stays with you, stays in the car, stays on the edge. And we think that's an important aspect going forward as well. So in the next slide, I would like to go deeper into an area to convey to you a little more detail about what's available as you think about new AI use cases, what's available to you as a developer inside the car. And it really comes down to inputs and outputs. And one set of inputs I'd like to talk about is cameras. One set of outputs I'd like to talk about is video. On this slide on the left-hand side, you see an example of literally 12 different cameras around the vehicle. Now, many of these cameras you see pointing outside the vehicle. Those are cameras that form your bird's eye view and object recognition. Some of those cameras also form what will be in the future replacements for mirrors on the sides or rear of your car. But also there's cameras inside the vehicle. And these cameras are going to be critically important in use cases you can experience today with monitoring the occupant for distraction, let's say. But the possibilities are endless going forward when you think about AI algorithms having access to these imaging cameras. Now, on the output side, it's also pretty exciting. You've got a multitude of video displays to which an AI algorithm can output information. And I'm putting audio completely to the side, which is another very interesting topic. But looking just at video, you can see there's the augmented reality heads-up display, the HUD that I talked about earlier. That's projecting things onto the windshield. And we found that that's a very intuitive way to, say, overlay certain graphics on the road or in real time or in reality to guide the driver in an effective way. To the right of that, you see pillar-to-pillar displays. This is literally a 40 or 50-inch display that is maybe 5 or 6 inches tall, but it spans from the left column of the car all the way to the right column of the car to the passenger. Completely configurable. You can drive it in many different ways with many different pieces of content in different zones on that screen. That's incredibly powerful and I would argue even more exciting than some of the gaming systems that we have today in our homes. In the rear seat, you see rear seat displays. This is interesting for streaming a cartoon, certainly for entertainment, but we're seeing a lot more productivity use cases, video telephony, where artificial intelligence can help with the video rendering and smoothness of the video playback. And last I didn't touch on was the digital rear view mirror. This becomes another display, not a mirror anymore. So when you really think about all of the different inputs and outputs, I think the possibilities are really endless. What new use cases that we can think of going forward. Next is energy management. So energy management, when it comes to electric vehicles, is an important topic. Now, whether you believe in electric vehicles as the way of the future or not, or you experience the problems in the extreme cold in the Midwest this year, make no mistake, EVs will be pervasive in the future. In fact, just this week, the European Car Manufacturer Trade Association, ACEA, said that they will not fight against the ban on internal combustion engines by 2035 that the European Union is putting in place. That's a big deal. And what that tells us is that AI is going to be able to play a huge role there. And it's not just energy management so that I can find a charging station or manage the charge of my battery better. It goes beyond that. It will help users get over basic range anxiety with their battery, but it'll also allow them to maybe charge more efficiently or charge and find cheaper ways of charging their vehicle. Artificial intelligence can play a role there. In addition, it goes well beyond the car. Think of the infrastructure, the power grid, and the use cases for AI there. Power grids and municipalities will be using AI to better manage charging stations, but also power routing. It will also help them decide what regulations to put in place, what financial incentives they should put in place, and ultimately affect our taxes, as gas tax would need to be replaced by something else. And artificial intelligence has a role to play, not only in the car, but also in this infrastructure that will be needed for the future of electric vehicles. So I could go on and on and on. I'll expand a little bit more before I start to wrap up, but I wanted to share a couple of things here. Number one, I'd like to propose a very simple two-part model that you can use to think about use cases in the automobile going forward using artificial intelligence. One aspect of that model is car-centric. The other aspect is person-centric. When we think about car-centric, we put ourselves in the shoes of the car maker, right? They're making a car, they're trying to sell the car. What they think about is, how can I make this car better? How can I make it safer? How can I make it self-healing, maybe self-aware? Those ideas start to spawn ideas like I've listed here. Certainly, traffic is a big concern when you're driving your car. Artificial intelligence already plays some roles in intelligent routing. But again, like that battery management example, the infrastructure in municipalities around traffic management and congestion, and the infrastructure working with the AI in the vehicle to create a better driving experience and manage traffic and congestion. Another use case, very car-centric, safety and ADAS advancements, advanced driver assistance systems. Certainly at GTC, you'll hear a lot more about the strong position that NVIDIA plays in bringing advancements there. That all plays into how we make the car safer. Third is predictive maintenance. This is one that is near and dear to my heart. Early in my career, we brought the first telematics module to market. And this was the first time a car was connected to the cloud. And so we had car makers that were gathering data from the car, whether it's oil, temperature, pressures, et cetera. And all that data would go back to the cloud and it would just sit there. This was long before the boom in artificial intelligence. One car maker I remember specifically, said to me in a meeting, Brian, we have so much data that we've collected from cars. We don't even know what to do with it. I believe AI is that game changer that's going to allow car makers and the industry as a whole to create some very new and exciting use cases. One could be predictive maintenance, knowing when your car is going to need service before you're broken down and need a tow. Last point here is vehicle as a sensor. This isn't a use case, this is a concept. As you think about use cases, think about how much data there is inside the car. It's a rolling sensor. It's rolling down the road. It's got cameras, it's got microphones, it's got tire pressure sensors, it's got pressure sensors for the environment. It's got radar, it's got LiDAR, it's got so much information. What could we do with that information? I think that's really exciting. And AI is probably the only way we can make sense of that much data at any one time. The second aspect of this model was person-centric. And as it implies, this entails putting yourself in the kind of the shoes of the consumer. This could be the driver, this could be your co-pilot in the front seat, this could be passengers in the back seat. And ultimately, as I said earlier, it's about intuitive and safe user interaction. The experiences today can be somewhat disjointed, and I think AI can play an extremely good role in normalizing and making the interface intuitive. Some new use cases that are being talked about are emotion and cognitive recognition. So knowing what's going on with the driver, what's going on with their cognitive load. Do I need to change something about how the car is interacting with the consumer because of this emotional or cognitive load? That's pretty interesting. Biometric authentication. Sure, you could use a face to unlock your phone. You can do the same thing to unlock your car. But go one step further, because you know who the person is, you know what they like, what settings they might like in the car, and you can just expand on that, making that interaction more seamless. And then last, health monitoring. This is getting some time. Companies in the industry are very interested to know, what is your physical therapist or your chiropractor recommending for you for, say, physical therapy at home. You could download that to the car using artificial intelligence to decide what would be the optimal seat massage that would help you with your physical therapy. So all sorts of crazy ideas. Again, I could go on and on and on, but let me start to wrap up. MediaTek is at the forefront of driving this new and exciting time of bringing AI into the automobile. We think that our new Dimensity Auto Cockpit platform delivers a highly scalable and integrated platform to bring all of these advancements forward. You're going to be hearing a lot more about what MediaTek is announcing during the GTC. One of the important points I want to convey, especially to the developers and ecosystem partners here in the room, is that the collaboration with MediaTek and NVIDIA is based on technologies and tool sets that you're very familiar with. Things like DriveOS, CUDA, TensorRT, the entire NVIDIA Drive platform will create a very familiar starting point from which you and we can innovate going forward. And so I've talked about some of these use cases on the screen here, but let me paint a vision, a picture of what I see as a future for interacting with our cars. Using NVIDIA technologies and MediaTek silicon, I envision a state of the world where we have a very natural user interface with our vehicles. It's a conversational AI applied. Our car is personalized, therefore, to us. It knows us, knows where we want to go, knows where we should go. And it's also secure. It's creating great audio and video experiences to not only entertain, but to inform, and ultimately keeping us safe by really monitoring spatially what's going on around us and creating a much safer experience as well. As I said, you'll be hearing a lot more about what MediaTek is bringing forward in cooperation with NVIDIA at GTC. Suffice to say, some of the benefits of what we'll announce are the speed and high performance of our new set of SoC solutions for the cockpit of the vehicle, incredibly low latency, ability to run LLMs on the edge, and high security built in from the ground up. In closing, I've talked a lot about MediaTek's Dimensity Automotive Cockpit solutions today. That's the upper left-hand corner of this chart. But this is just one element of a portfolio of solutions that MediaTek is committed to bring forward in automotive. In the upper right, we also have an entire product line devoted to Dimensity Auto Connect. This is connecting the car to the cloud through telematics, Wi-Fi, and other solutions. In the lower left, we have our Dimensity Auto Components platform portfolio. These are all of the glue components, peripheral components that are needed to really bring these systems together, whether it's power management, ICs, or GPS components, everything you would need to really realize the platform solution. And last, in the lower right corner, MediaTek Dimensity Auto Drive. In the future, working again with NVIDIA, we envision advancements in ADAS that we will bring to market as well. So in conclusion, MediaTek is excited to bring forward these advancements in AI. What I'm extremely excited about is the future of AI that brings really this transformation to automotive. And when I say we, I don't just mean MediaTek, I mean all of us. I mean the car makers, the tier one providers of the actual computers for the car, silicon makers like MediaTek, as well as all of the developers and ecosystem partners that are here today. We will be working together to bring these new use cases forward. So I would repeat my request to you at the beginning to please continue your collaboration to advance artificial intelligence for automotive. I invite you to learn more about MediaTek and visit us at GTC.